All right, let's get straight to it. We're here today to tackle a subject that's been in the shadows for far too long. Depression in our seniors. I know some of you might be thinking, oh, here we go, another heavy topic. This isn't about dwelling on the negative. This is about shining a bright light on a very real, very treatable condition that affects millions of older adults, maybe even someone you love, or perhaps even yourself. And the good news? There are real, practical solutions. We're not going to tiptoe around this. We're going to lay out the facts, understand what we're truly dealing with, and most importantly, we're going to talk about what works. Because feeling down, feeling hopeless, feeling like you've lost your spark, that is not, I repeat, not a normal part of getting older. It's a sign that something's off and something can be done about it. We're going to look at the signs, the causes, and the concrete steps you can take to reclaim joy and vitality. So lean in, get comfortable, and open your mind. Because what we're about to discuss could be a game changer. It's time to stop whispering about senior depression and start shouting about the possibilities for a happier, healthier life. Are you ready to get real? Because I am. Let's get to work. Let me be clear from the get-go. Understanding depression in our older population is absolutely critical. It's not about just chalking things up to old age or assuming that feeling low is just part of the deal when you've lived a long life. That's a dangerous misconception, folks. Depression is a legitimate medical condition, and it requires our attention, our compassion, and our action. We've got to peel back the layers and see it for what it is. A challenge, yes, but one that can be met head-on with the right strategies and support. The first step in overcoming anything is to truly understand it. What does it look like in seniors? How does it differ, if at all, from depression in younger folks? Often the symptoms can be subtle, or they can be masked by other health issues, making it tricky to spot. But just because it's tricky doesn't mean we throw our hands up. It means we get smarter, we get more observant, and we get more proactive in looking out for our loved ones and for ourselves. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. And here's the most important piece of this puzzle. There is tremendous hope. Overcoming depression in the elderly isn't a pipe dream, it's a reality for so many. It takes a willingness to acknowledge the problem, to seek help, and to implement the solutions that we know work. We're not talking about some vague, feel-good nonsense here. We're talking about evidence-based approaches that can restore quality of life, bring back that spark, and allow our seniors to live their golden years with the dignity and happiness they deserve. So, as we dive deeper into this, I want you to hold on to that hope. I want you to know that change is possible. Understanding is the key that unlocks the door to effective action, and action is what leads to overcoming. We're going to equip you with that understanding so you can be an agent of positive change, whether it's for yourself, a parent, a grandparent, or a friend. Let's get started on really grasping what we're up against, and more importantly, what we can do about it. Let's talk numbers for a minute, because sometimes that's what it takes to really grasp the magnitude of what we're dealing with. We're not talking about a few isolated cases here and there. Depression affects millions, and I mean millions, of older adults across the country and around the world. Think about that. In every community, in many families, there are seniors who are silently struggling, feeling like they're all alone in this. It's a significant public health issue, and it's one that has profound impacts on individuals, families, and our society as a whole. But here's the part I need you to hear loud and clear, louder than those statistics. Depression is treatable. I'm going to say that again. It is treatable. This isn't some life sentence of sadness and despair. Just because someone is older doesn't mean they have to resign themselves to living under a dark cloud. The promise of hope is real, and it's powerful. We have effective therapies, we have supportive strategies, and we have a growing understanding of how to help seniors navigate this and come out stronger on the other side. So when we talk about the scope of the problem, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed or discouraged. I want you to feel motivated. I want you to understand that because so many are affected, there's a wealth of knowledge and experience we can draw upon. Scientists, doctors, therapists, they've been studying this, they've been working with seniors, and they've identified what truly makes a difference. We're going to tap into that knowledge today and break it down into real, actionable steps. The journey starts with acknowledging the reality. Yes, many are affected, but it quickly moves to embracing the possibility. Yes, many can be helped. We're going to talk about the signs you need to look for, the underlying causes that can contribute to depression in seniors. And then, most importantly, we're going to lay out a roadmap of real ways to help. This is about empowerment. This is about taking back control. This is about moving from the shadow of depression into the light of well-being. When we talk about depression, we are not, I repeat, not just talking about feeling sad or having a bad day. Everybody gets the blues now and then. That's part of being human. But clinical depression, the kind that can really take hold in our senior population, is a whole different animal. It's a legitimate medical condition, folks. Just like diabetes or heart disease, it affects your brain chemistry, your body, and your entire outlook on life. And it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that something is medically out of balance. So, what does this medical condition actually do? Well, it can wreak havoc on just about every aspect of a person's life. We're talking about a persistent lack of energy, where even getting out of bed feels like climbing a mountain. It can mess with your appetite. Either you can't eat a thing, or you can't stop eating. Sleep? Forget about it. You're either staring at the ceiling all night, or you can't seem to stay awake during the day. These aren't just minor inconveniences. These are significant disruptions to your physical well-being. And then there's the impact on your mind and your mood. We're talking about more than just sadness. It can be a profound sense of hopelessness, a feeling that nothing will ever get better. It can be a loss of interest or pleasure in things you used to love, hobbies, seeing friends, even spending time with family. Your memory can get fuzzy. You might have trouble concentrating or making decisions. It's like a heavy fog rolls in and just sits on top of you, coloring everything gray. It's crucial to understand this distinction because if you think it's just sadness, you might not take it seriously enough. You might not seek the help that's available, and that works. Recognizing depression as the medical condition it is empowers us to approach it with the right tools and the right mindset. It's not something you can just snap out of any more than you can snap out of a broken leg. It requires understanding, support, and often professional intervention. And that's okay. That's what help is for. If we are going to help ourselves or help our loved ones, we have to know what we're looking for, right? What are the red flags, the warning signs that depression might be taking root in a senior's life? One of the most common, and perhaps the most obvious, is a persistent feeling of sadness, emptiness, or hopelessness that just doesn't lift. It's not a fleeting moment of melancholy. It's a cloud that hangs around day after day, week after week. They might say things like, "What's the use?" or "Nothing matters anymore." Pay attention to that kind of talk. Another big one is a noticeable loss of interest or pleasure in activities that they once enjoyed. Maybe your mom loved gardening, but now her tools are collecting dust. Perhaps your dad was an avid reader, but now his books sit unopened. This withdrawal from hobbies, social activities, and even from connecting with family and friends is a significant indicator. It's like the color drains out of their world, and things that used to bring joy now feel like a burden or simply hold no appeal. Then there are the physical signs. Fatigue and a lack of energy are huge. We're not just talking about being tired after a busy day. We're talking about a bone-deep weariness that makes even simple tasks feel overwhelming. Sleep problems are also very common. Either insomnia, where they can't fall asleep or stay asleep, or hypersomnia, where they're sleeping excessively. And keep an eye on appetite and weight changes. Significant weight loss or gain without trying can be a symptom, as can a noticeable decrease or increase in their usual eating habits. Finally, cognitive difficulties can be a sign. Trouble concentrating, remembering details, or making decisions can sometimes be attributed to aging. But when it's part of a larger picture of mood changes and withdrawal, it could very well be linked to depression. They might seem more irritable or restless than usual, or conversely, they might seem slowed down in their movements and speech. These aren't just quirks. These are potential signals that something deeper is going on, and it's our job to be vigilant and recognize them. Now, here's a critical point we need to address. Why does depression in seniors so often fly under the radar? Why does this silent struggle continue for so many without them getting the help they need and deserve? Well, one of the biggest reasons is that many seniors simply don't talk about it. There can be a generational reluctance to discuss mental health, a feeling that it's a private matter, or even a sense of shame or stigma associated with admitting they're not coping well. They might think it's a sign of weakness or they don't want to be a burden to their families. Another major hurdle is that the symptoms of depression can often be confused with other things. Think about it. Fatigue? Well, that could be aging. Memory problems? Could be seen as a normal part of getting older. Aches and pains? Might be attributed to arthritis or other physical ailments. Even doctors can sometimes misattribute these symptoms, especially if the senior isn't forthcoming about their emotional state. It's easy for depression to get masked by or mistaken for the natural aging process or side effects of medications they might be taking for other conditions. And this brings me to a point I cannot stress enough. Depression is not a normal part of aging. I want you to burn that into your brain. It is not inevitable. It is not something seniors just have to put up with as they get older. This belief is not only wrong, it's harmful, because it prevents people from seeking and receiving treatment that could dramatically improve their quality of life. We have to challenge this outdated notion every chance we get. Our seniors deserve to feel good, to have joy, to be engaged in life, regardless of their age. So, the silence, the symptom overlap, and the mistaken belief that it's just old age create a perfect storm where depression can thrive undetected. That's why we, as family members, as friends, as caregivers, and even as healthcare professionals, need to be extra vigilant. We need to ask the right questions, listen carefully, even to what's not being said, and create a safe space where seniors feel comfortable opening up. Breaking this silence is the first crucial step towards getting them the help they need. All right, we've talked about the problem now, let's get into the solutions. And the first one I want to hammer home is the power of connection. You hear me talk about this all the time because it's that important. Loneliness, folks, is like gasoline on the fire of depression. It isolates you, it makes you feel like nobody understands, and it can send you spiraling downward. For seniors who may have lost spouses, friends, or their mobility, the risk of isolation is very real and we've got to fight it tooth and nail. So what does staying connected actually look like? It means actively, intentionally reaching out and maintaining those social bonds. This isn't passive, it's proactive. If you're a senior, pick up the phone and call your kids, your grandkids, an old friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Don't wait for them to call you. Make plans. Invite someone over for a cup of coffee. Join a club, a senior center, a church group, anything that gets you interacting with other people who share your interests. And for those of you who have seniors in your life, this is where you step up. Make that regular call. Schedule those visits. Don't just assume they're fine. Ask them how they're really doing. Include them in family activities. Help them explore community groups or volunteer opportunities that might interest them. Sometimes, just knowing that someone cares enough to reach out to listen to be present can make a world of difference. It's about creating a safety net of human connection. Remember, we are wired for connection. It's a fundamental human need. When that need isn't met, especially in our later years, it can take a serious toll on mental and emotional health. So make it a priority. Nurture those relationships. Build new ones. Whether it's through family, friends, community involvement, or even a beloved pet, find ways to combat loneliness and foster a sense of belonging. This isn't just a nice idea. It's a powerful antidepressant, and it's available to every single one of us. Let's talk about another powerhouse solution, and it's one that's accessible to almost everyone in some form physical activity. I know when you're feeling down, the last thing you might want to do is exercise. It can feel like an impossible task. But let me tell you, the science is clear on this. Moving your body is one of the most effective natural mood boosters out there. It's like a built-in pharmacy that your body can tap into, releasing endorphins and other feel-good chemicals that can lift your spirits and reduce feelings of anxiety and depression. We're not talking about running marathons here, especially for our seniors. It's about finding enjoyable, sustainable ways to incorporate more movement into your daily routine. Even just 20 to 30 minutes of moderate activity most days of the week can make a significant difference. What kind of activity? Well, that depends on your physical condition and what you enjoy. Walking is fantastic. It's free. You can do it almost anywhere, and it's gentle on the joints. Get out in nature if you can. That adds an extra layer of therapeutic benefit. Stretching and gentle yoga can improve flexibility, reduce tension, and promote a sense of calm. Water aerobics is another great option because the water supports your body, making it easier on your joints while still providing a good workout. Even simple chair exercises can be beneficial if mobility is limited. The key is to find something you can stick with, something that doesn't feel like a punishment. Maybe it's dancing to your favorite music in the living room, or gardening, or playing with your grandkids. The important thing is to start small and gradually build up. Don't try to do too much too soon, or you'll just get discouraged. Consult with your doctor before starting any new exercise program, especially if you have underlying health conditions. But please, don't underestimate the profound impact that regular physical activity can have on your mood, your energy levels, and your overall sense of well-being. It's a game changer, folks. So find a way to get moving and you'll be moving towards a brighter outlook. All right, let's tackle a big one: therapy. For some folks, especially from older generations, there can be a stigma attached to the idea of seeing a therapist or a counselor. They might think it means they're crazy or that they failed somehow. Let me be absolutely clear, that is nonsense. Seeking therapy is a sign of strength, not weakness. It means you're smart enough to recognize you need some help navigating a tough time, and you're courageous enough to reach out for it. Therapy works, and it can be incredibly effective for seniors dealing with depression. So, what exactly is therapy? In a nutshell, it's talking with a trained professional who can help you understand your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and develop healthier coping strategies. It's a safe, confidential space where you can explore what's going on without judgment. One type of therapy that has shown particular success with seniors is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Now that might sound complicated, but the concept is pretty straightforward. CBT helps you identify negative or unhelpful thought patterns and learn how to challenge and change them. Think about it. If you're constantly telling yourself, "I'm useless," or "nothing good ever happens to me," those thoughts are going to fuel your depression. CBT teaches you to catch those thoughts, examine the evidence for and against them, and replace them with more realistic and positive ones. It also helps you develop practical skills to manage symptoms, solve problems, and change behaviors that might be contributing to your depression, like isolating yourself or giving up on activities you once enjoyed. This isn't about endlessly dwelling on the past. It's about focusing on the here and now, and equipping you with tools you can use to feel better and function better. A good therapist will work with you at your pace to set achievable goals and help you make meaningful changes. So if you're struggling, or if you see a senior loved one struggling, please consider therapy as a powerful option. It's an investment in your well-being, and it can truly change your life for the better. Don't let outdated ideas hold you back from getting the support you deserve. Sometimes, despite our best efforts with lifestyle changes, therapy, and social support, depression can be stubborn. And in those cases, medication can be a very important and effective part of the treatment plan. I want to be really clear here. Medication isn't a magic pill, and it's not always the first or only answer. But for many people, particularly when depression is moderate to severe, antidepressants can help rebalance brain chemistry and provide significant relief from symptoms, making it easier to engage in therapy and other positive activities. The decision to use medication is one that should always, and I mean always, be made in consultation with a doctor, preferably one who has experience treating depression in older adults. This is not something you self-diagnose or self-prescribe. Your doctor will consider your overall health, other medications you're taking, and the specific nature of your symptoms to determine if medication is appropriate, and if so, which type might be best for you. There are many different kinds of antidepressants, and it can sometimes take a bit of trial and error to find the one that works best with the fewest side effects. One of the critical reasons to work closely with your doctor, especially for seniors, is the issue of polypharmacy. That's a fancy word for taking multiple medications. Older adults are often on medications for various physical health conditions, and there's a potential for drug interactions. Your doctor needs to have a complete picture of everything you're taking, including over-the-counter drugs and supplements, to ensure that any antidepressant prescribed is safe and won't cause problems with your other treatments. So, if your doctor suggests medication as part of your treatment plan for depression, don't automatically dismiss it out of fear or misconception. Ask questions. Understand the potential benefits and side effects. See it as another tool in the toolbox to help you get well. And remember, Medication often works best when combined with other strategies like therapy and lifestyle changes. It's about a comprehensive approach, guided by professional medical advice, to help you find your way back to feeling like yourself again. Let's talk about something that can truly breathe life back into a person who's feeling lost or adrift, especially in their senior years: a sense of purpose and a healthy routine. When you retire, or when your kids are grown and out of the house, or if you've lost a spouse, it's easy to feel like your role has diminished, like you don't have that same why that got you out of bed every morning. And that lack of purpose, that feeling of aimlessness, can be a breeding ground for depression. So, how do you find or rediscover that purpose? It doesn't have to be some grand, earth-shattering mission. It's about finding meaning in your daily life, engaging in activities that feel fulfilling and make you feel valued. Volunteering is a fantastic way to do this. Sharing your time and skills to help others, whether it's at a local school, a hospital, an animal shelter, or a community organization, can provide an incredible boost to your spirit and a strong sense of connection. Hobbies are another powerful avenue. What did you used to love doing that maybe you've let slide? Is it painting or playing a musical instrument, gardening or woodworking, writing or learning a new language? Engaging your mind in your creativity, pursuing interests just for the joy of it, can bring immense satisfaction. Even caregiving, whether it's for a grandchild, a pet, or even a collection of houseplants, can provide a sense of responsibility and purpose that is deeply rewarding. And hand in hand with purpose comes routine. Having a regular structure to your day can be incredibly grounding when you're battling depression. It doesn't have to be rigid, but having set times for waking up, for meals, for activities, for winding down, can help combat the inertia and apathy that often accompany depression. It gives you a framework, a sense of predictability, and small, achievable goals throughout the day. So think about it. What gives your life meaning? What routines can you establish to support that? This is about actively shaping a life that feels worth living. All right, we've covered some big solutions, but let's not forget the foundational stuff, healthy habits, particularly when it comes to nutrition and sleep. What you put into your body and how well you rest have a direct and profound impact on your mood and your overall mental health. You can't expect to feel good if you're running on fumes or fueling yourself with junk. It's common sense, but it's amazing how often we overlook these basics when we're trying to tackle something like depression. Let's start with nutrition. Your brain needs a steady supply of nutrients to function optimally, and that includes regulating your mood. Eating a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein can make a real difference. Think colorful foods. They're packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that support brain health. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fish like salmon, flax seeds, and walnuts have also been shown to have mood-boosting properties. Conversely, diets high in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats can contribute to inflammation and negatively affect your mood. Then there's sleep. Oh boy, sleep is critical. When you're sleep deprived, everything feels harder. Your emotions are more volatile, your ability to cope with stress plummets, and depressive symptoms can worsen. Aim for a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up around the same time each day, even on weekends. Create a relaxing bedtime routine, maybe a warm bath, reading a book, or listening to calming music. Make sure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and cool. Good sleep hygiene is non-negotiable for good mental health. And a quick word on things to limit or avoid: caffeine and alcohol. While a morning cup of coffee might be fine for some, too much caffeine, especially later in the day, can interfere with sleep and increase anxiety. And alcohol? It's a depressant. While it might seem to offer temporary relief, it can actually make depression worse in the long run and can also interfere with sleep quality and interact negatively with antidepressant medications. So eat well, rest well, and be mindful of what you're consuming. These healthy habits are your allies in the fight against depression. This one is for all you family members, friends, and caregivers out there. Your role in supporting a senior who's dealing with depression is absolutely invaluable. You can be a lifeline, but it's important to understand how to provide that support in a way that's truly helpful and not inadvertently making things more difficult. Your patience, your understanding, and your encouragement can make all the difference in their journey to recovery. First and foremost, listen. And I mean really listen, without judgment. Let them talk about how they're feeling, even if it's hard to hear. Don't try to fix it immediately or tell them to just snap out of it or look on the bright side. Depression isn't a choice, and platitudes often fall flat. Validate their feelings. Say things like, "I hear you," or "That sounds really tough." Just knowing that someone is willing to listen and try to understand can be incredibly comforting and can reduce feelings of isolation. Be patient and encouraging. Recovery from depression takes time. It's not an overnight process. There will be good days and bad days. Offer gentle encouragement to engage in positive activities, like going for a walk, joining a social outing, or pursuing a hobby. But don't push too hard if they're not up to it. Celebrate small victories. If they manage to get dressed and come to breakfast when they've been staying in bed, acknowledge that effort. Your consistent, gentle support is key. Help them access professional help if needed. Offer to make an appointment with a doctor or therapist, or even go with them if they're hesitant. Help them remember to take medications if prescribed. And importantly, take care of yourself too. Being a caregiver can be stressful, and it's easy to burn out. Make sure you have your own support system and take breaks when you need them. Your well-being matters just as much, and you can only effectively support someone else if you're looking after yourself. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I hope what you're taking away, more than anything else, is a profound sense of hope. Because here's the truth, plain and simple. Depression is treatable, and it's treatable at any age. It doesn't matter if you're 65, 75, 85, or older. It is never too late to seek help. It is never too late to make changes. And it is never too late to find joy and meaning in your life again. Don't let anyone, especially yourself, tell you otherwise. I want to speak directly to any seniors out there who might be listening and feeling that heavy weight of depression. You are not alone in this. Millions of others have walked this path, and millions have found their way to a brighter place. What you're experiencing is not a personal failing. It's a medical condition, and there are effective treatments available. Reaching out for help is a sign of courage, a sign that you value yourself enough to want to feel better. Please take that first step. And for the families and friends, remember that your support, your understanding, and your encouragement are powerful forces for healing. Don't give up on your loved ones. Help them connect with the resources we've talked about. Be their advocate, be their cheerleader, be their soft place to land. Healing is possible, and it often happens within a community of care and compassion. You're a vital part of that community. So, as we wrap up this core discussion, hold on to this. Healing is not just a possibility, it's a promise if you're willing to do the work and access the support that's out there. The path might have its challenges, but every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. You have the strength within you, and there are people who want to help you rediscover it. Believe in your capacity to heal. Believe in the power of these solutions. A happier, more fulfilling life is within your reach. We've talked about understanding depression and the solutions that work. Now let's get down to the brass tacks of how you actually access that help. Knowing what to do is one thing. Taking that first step is another. And sometimes that first step is the hardest. But I'm here to tell you, there are people and organizations ready and waiting to support you or your loved one. You don't have to figure this all out on your own. One of the most immediate resources, if you or someone you know is in crisis or just needs to talk to someone right away, is the National Helpline. I want you to write this down. 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-4357. This is a confidential, free, 24/7 service that can provide referrals to local treatment facilities, support groups, and community-based organizations. It's a fantastic starting point if you're feeling overwhelmed and don't know where to turn. Your doctor is another crucial resource. Schedule an appointment and be honest about how you're feeling. They can conduct an assessment, rule out any other underlying medical conditions that might be contributing to your symptoms, and discuss treatment options, including referrals to mental health professionals like therapists, psychologists, or psychiatrists. Don't downplay your symptoms. Be specific. Tell them about your mood, your sleep, your energy levels, your interest in things. The more information they have, the better they can help you. Beyond that, reach out to your local senior services or area agency on aging. These organizations often have a wealth of information about mental health resources, specifically for older adults in your community. They might offer support groups, counseling services, or programs designed to combat social isolation. Don't be afraid to ask. Remember, these services are there to help. Taking that step to make a call or schedule an appointment is an act of self-care and strength. Help is available, and it works. So, we've laid out the problems, we've laid out the solutions, we've laid out the resources. Now what's left? Action. That's right. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You can have all the information in the world, but if you don't put it into practice, if you don't take those steps, then you're just spinning your wheels. It's time to take the reins of your well-being, or help your loved one take the reins of theirs, and create a concrete plan for moving towards that brighter tomorrow we've been talking about. I want you to think about the solutions we discussed: staying connected, physical activity, therapy, medication if needed and prescribed by a doctor, finding purpose and routine, healthy habits like good nutrition and sleep, family and caregiver support. Which of these resonate most with you right now? Which one feels like a manageable first step? You don't have to tackle everything all at once. Pick one or two things to focus on initially. Maybe it's making a commitment to call a friend 3 times this week. Maybe it's going for a 15-minute walk each day. Write it down. Seriously. Get a piece of paper and write down your action plan. What specific steps will you take? When will you take them? Who can support you in this? Having a written plan makes it more real, more tangible, and it holds you accountable. If you're helping a senior, work with them to create this plan. Empower them to be part of the process. This isn't about dictating. It's about collaborating for their well-being. Remember, this journey is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be ups and downs. But with a plan in place, with a commitment to action, and with the knowledge that you are not alone and that these strategies work, you can make profound progress. Every small step forward is a victory. Every positive choice you make builds momentum. You have the power to change your narrative, to move from a place of despair to a place of hope and vitality. So take that first step today. Your brighter tomorrow is waiting. Well, folks, we've come to the end of our time together today, but I truly hope this is just the beginning of a new chapter for many of you. We've talked a lot about depression in seniors, what it is, why it happens, and most importantly, what real, tangible things you can do about it. My goal here has been to cut through the noise, to give you straight talk and actionable strategies, because I believe with all my heart that every single person, at every single age, deserves to live a life filled with joy, purpose, and connection. If you're a senior who's been struggling, please hear me. There is hope, there is help, and there is healing. You don't have to carry this burden alone, and you certainly don't have to accept it as an inevitable part of aging. That's a myth, and it's time we busted it for good. Take one piece of information, one strategy we talked about today, and put it into action. Make that call. Take that walk. Talk to someone. Your journey to a happier life can start right now. And if you're a loved one, a caregiver, a friend, your role is crucial. Your support, your understanding, your encouragement can be the catalyst that helps a senior find their way back to the light. Keep showing up, keep listening, keep believing in their capacity to heal. If this helped you, please like, share, and subscribe for more videos that support